Thank you for tuning in to another week, another episode of Outside the Box. I'm your host, Oneida CEO, and tonight I have, as you know, another fire artist. But this one is special. She's Grammy Nominated. So I need you guys to buckle up your seatbelts because you're now plugged in, tuned in, tapped in to Outside the Box. And we're back. And the young lady I'm introducing tonight, I actually had the pleasure of working with her on an event of my own. And ever since that day, I was a original, genuine fan. And so it warms my heart to be able to invite her to the round table. So I want you guys to give it up for Shaleyah.
Hey! Such a warm welcome. Thank you.
Oh, man, what's going on, Queen?
I'm just glad to be here with you, Queen. I'm loving your platform. I'm honored to be here. And it's just like I tell you all the time, Queen, recognize Queen. Your energy is fire. I appreciate what you do. And I'm glad to share your platform with you.
Man, thank you so much. Like I told you, I'm an original fan. So I'm a fan. So I know what you do and who you are. But for those that are listening and watching, can you share with our audience who you are and everything that you do?
Absolutely. So I'm an entertainer. I'm a singer and songwriter first. Like the craft of the art is like right here in my heart. I'm also a performing artist, recording artist. So that's what I do. I'm also very passionate about health and wellness, just as passionate about that as I am music. So with that said, what I do is I'm a fitness and wealth and wellness influencer. And I have a book, and we'll get into that later as well. So.
Dope. So we definitely gonna get to that. We're gonna circle back to music because that is definitely how you won my heart over. Thank you. I wanted to know, like, what encouraged you? Like, what was the aha moment that brought you to music? What's the inspiration behind it?
Well, I always say my mother is my original inspiration. It's so true because my mother's a singer, she's a pianist, and she was a choir director at the church that I grew up.
You ain't had no choice but to sing.
No choice but to sing. She threw a robe on me at the age of 2. So my mom always says that I was like singing before I could really talk, making up songs as a baby. So it literally started there in church, and I was just able to hone my skills through the church and school organizations and vocal teachers, and that's where I really got started, through my mother and the church.
Now, where are you originally from?
I'm from here. I'm from Houston.
H-Town, baby.
H-Town down.
Yeah, but you kind of ventured off lately because I know you flew all the way into town. You came back home for this one.
Yes. I came home to be here with you today.
Thank you. I feel so honored. I feel honored.
Yes. So I currently live in Atlanta. I was just talking to somebody else that works here with you. I graduated from Clark Atlanta University. HBCUs represent. And so that's what originally took me to Atlanta. But when we met, I was actually living in New Orleans because I lived in New Orleans for a while. I was able to really blossom and develop my art
You
there.
actually had a residency in New Orleans, right? Like, were you?
I had multiple residencies in New Orleans, actually. So, yeah.
Oh, you was doing your thing.
Yes, girl. I've been around. I did a residency in Russia as well. I did a 3-month residency in Russia, and that opened my eyes in so many ways. I came to not only appreciate what I do and how music can really take you around the world, but also I appreciate being an American citizen as well.
Yeah, that's so dope because you well traveled, your experiences. I bet you share your experiences just through your craft as well.
I do. I absolutely do.
So you recently released a single, Natural.
I did.
What was the inspiration behind that?
I did a thing. So the inspiration was real life living as a single woman. I say I was single at the time, but I woke up one morning just thinking about what it would be like to be in like a loving, healthy, easy relationship where you don't have to think about it too much. It just flows and it's just natural.
Yeah.
And I was playing my guitar and I came up with the chords first. So first the melody came to me, and since that was on my mind, the words just kind of wrote themselves. I did bring another writer in when I went to record it, and now we have the version that you have now.
Okay, well, I actually want our listeners to hear it and our viewers to see it.
Hey.
Let's check it out. Natural by Shaleyah.
We don't have to try. No need to say goodbye. 'Cause we just treat each other so natural. We just treat each other so natural. I wake up alone. Look over at my phone. First thing on my mind, as the sun begins to shine, is checking up on you, boy. You're checking on me too. Feeling so good to be loved and understood. We don't have to try. No need to say goodbye. 'Cause we just treat each other so natural. We just treat each other so natural. We don't have to try. No need to say goodbye. 'Cause we just treat each other so natural. We just treat each other so natural. I can't go a day without you in my space. Enjoying your company. There's no place I'd rather be. I love checking up on you. You're checking on me too. Feeling so good to be loved and understood. We don't have to try. No need to say goodbye. 'Cause we just treat each other so natural. We just treat each other so natural. We don't have to try. No need to say goodbye. 'Cause we just treat each other so natural. We just treat each other so natural. When I fall in love, I tend to fall so hard. This feels so good, this could feel so good that I've let down my guard. I can see forever in your heart. We'll write our names together in the stars. We don't have to try. No need to say goodbye. 'Cause we just treat each other so natural. We just treat each other so natural. We don't have to try. No need to say goodbye. 'Cause we just treat each other so natural. We just treat each other so natural.
Now, the first thing I want to ask you now, let me first comment. The vibe on that song is just way too smooth. Now, are you signed?
I'm an unsigned independent artist right now. I'm doing it all on my own. Let me not say that. I do work with a team of people, but I don't have the backing of a major label. So right now I'm independent. I am looking for deals, though. I'm especially interested in a publishing deal, but I'd be interested in the right artist deal as well. And I have to shout out the producer of that song, Grammy Award-winning Reggie Nick. He produced a song. Trey Parker is one of the other writers on it, and the vocal arranger is Berkeley, the artist. So
Berkeley,
it was a
shout out to
team.
Berkeley.
Yeah, shout out to Berkeley. It's a team effort for sure.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, y'all definitely brought it all together.
thank you.
So since you been doing your music, what was the extra push that pushed you off the porch to say, I'm finna do a completed project and make it available to the people?
Okay, so honestly, I've been wanting to do it for quite some time, but I was the lead singer of a group. And so I was putting so much of my time, energy, effort, all my eggs in that one basket for years, just really, really loyal to it. And I would do other projects, kind of like side things where I was featured with other artists and other projects, but never really fully honing in on my own project. So once I was no longer a part of that group, I had already started it, but I found myself with more time.
Yeah.
And then 2020 happened, where a lot of us found ourselves
what?
with
We had to
more
get
time
outside the
at
box.
home. Right, exactly. And here we are outside
Yeah.
the box. So yeah, I used that time to finish my project. So I had already started it, but it was like, okay, now's the time. So in a way, the project is sort of a time capsule. Because it was, and I see music that way anyway. And so this particular project of mine captures the very historic moment of 2020 and all of the life that I had lived up to that point.
Now, you went full throttle with your career. You've done
Thank you.
residencies. So once you realize that this is something, you're taking serious, you're willing to up and move. Now, let me go back. Because I want to get to the point that you moved.
Okay.
But at what point did your decisions change when focusing on yourself? Like, once you started focusing on yourself, how did that change the course of your decisions? What became your new formula for success at that point?
My new formula for success. That is a great question, because I think a lot of times when we approach things, sometimes, especially in the world of being a creative and an artist, we don't always approach it in that strategic way. Like, okay, what's going to make me successful? This is the music business. It's a business at the end of the day. So I was working with a manager who's a great friend of mine, Dion Baldwin, as well as a consultant. And having those two people on my team really helped to shape the direction that I wanted to go. So I already had very particular goals in mind. And so just having those two people to help hold me accountable, help me with the work, and having my own goals. Dreams are dreams, but when you add plans, now that can get you towards your goals.
That's
so.
definitely manifestation.
So that's how it happened for me. I already had those goals. So then once it was like, okay, I'm only focused on myself. It's not a shared vision anymore with the group. So now it's like, okay, well, I already know this is what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
But
so
the catch-22 to that is you have to really want it, because the difference with being in a group is when you're working with a group, a lot of times you guys are each other's accountability partner. Like, you want to make sure that you do your part because you holding it. But when it's just you by yourself, it takes a lot of discipline to continue to show up for yourself.
That's a very good point. It does. And a level of self-love and just belief. Faith in yourself, showing up for yourself, like, that's huge, because a lot of times if we don't have that real belief and drive and, like you said, discipline, and sometimes I forget about that. Somehow I have it. Perhaps it was the way that I was raised. Perhaps it's been my experiences, my education. But I do have a level of discipline that keeps me going. And it's amazing, because a lot of times people recognize it. And sometimes I'm like, but I should be doing so much more. Like, I can be my harshest
That's how
critic.
I feel. Like, I'm not doing enough.
Yeah.
I need more content. I need
Right. Exactly. And so I think that's the mark of ambitious people,
Yeah.
people who are highly driven. So, yeah.
Now, you set your goals down, you set out to do it, and you completed your project. More than enough. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about more than enough. More than enough, it's an affirmation. It's an affirmation that I use for myself. And I find myself saying, first it was, I am enough. I am enough. Then it was, you know what? I'm more than enough.
Yeah.
I am more than enough. And that message really comes across on the project. That theme is throughout the project. So I really encourage people to listen to it, those who haven't. But sometimes life experiences and the harsh critiques of others, you can imagine being the front person who's always, in front of a camera. People have their opinions. Everybody got an opinion now with a keyboard, honey. And most of us have keyboards with our mobile devices.
Oh, man.
Mobile keyboards and can say or think or whatever.
Man, these keyboard bullies and keyboard gangsters are among us.
So there's that. And then there's just the harsh reality of the industry and being a woman in the industry and just sometimes unrealistic standards. You have these aesthetics of beauty standards on how you should sound, present yourself, all these different things. I think I've been through the ringer when it comes to criticism. And at one point, like when I first started, I had so much confidence in myself. And then after having some of these experiences, it can just tear you down, tear your spirit down, and like have you question me. I started to question myself, like, am I really doing the right thing? Should I be doing this? Am I good enough?
Yes, ma'am. Let me tell you, you have so much class and so much character, and continue to be you. Let this be a confirmation to you that you are doing exactly what you should be doing.
Thank you.
The industry will try to tear down who we are to make us who they think we should be, but you have continued to stay genuine and true to yourself. And so it has gotten you where you are. Don't change that. Don't let that part of you go, because it's beautiful and it's rare and the industry needs it. The brown girls need to see brown girls like us.
Thank you, Onae.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
I appreciate you saying that.
Keep doing that. Keep doing that. So,
but I was able to use it for the music. I took that.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know what? I'm going to affirm for myself. And my mother reminded me, I was going through a really tough breakup. And my mother reminded me, you are enough. Because sometimes people will try to make you feel like you aren't on many different levels. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you got to remind yourself. Now, you have been Grammy nominated. Let's talk about that. How did that feel to be nominated for a Grammy? Actually, like you're saying, 2 different categories.
Okay, so 2 different categories. So basically, I am a member of the Recording Academy, and I joined the Memphis chapter originally through New Orleans because as a New Orleans resident, I was a part of the Memphis chapter. And then once I moved back to Atlanta, I became a part of the Atlanta chapter, which is a newer thing. But I submitted for last year, I submitted in 2020, and I submitted this year. And actually, last year was my first time actually going to an award ceremony right before everything changed. It was the same year that
you told the red carpet
Kobe.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. Those red carpet photos were everything.
Yes, they were.
But it was the same year that Kobe and his daughter and everyone on that flight, passed tragically. So, they had to change the show that day to reflect, because it happened at the Staples Center where he had played so many games. So it was a somber moment, but also triumphant in a way, because finally, growing up watching the Grammys, it's like this pinnacle. And it's certainly a goal of mine, a real goal, a real vision of mine to be a Grammy award-winning creative, whether that's through my songwriting, whether it's through my artistry. However, to me, that's really important. So anyway, to be a member of that organization, a voting member, I was able to submit my music. And so I did that for my solo originally. And then this year, I was able to submit my entire project, More Than Enough. And I submitted it for 2 categories, Best Progressive R&B Album, as well as Best Remake for my song Trap Lady, which is a remake of Erykah Badu's Bag Lady. So it's me paying homage to her. She was very influential in my own artistry. So
And that's dope, because I was just about to ask you, like, who are some of the artists that influenced you along your way, because we all have our picks.
Absolutely.
And you have such a soulful, sultry, just about your voice and your vocal ability. And I know you grew up on some old school, so go on and spill it out.
Already. So like I said, my mother is one of my major musical influences, and so my mother would play like the deepest of soul in my house growing up. So I heard a lot of Aretha Franklin, particularly the gospel album that she did with Reverend James Cleveland Jr. So if you've watched the movie that came out with Jennifer Hudson, or if you watched the documentary that she put out a few years ago of her recording that album, even back then. So that was very Aretha Franklin. Also, Sade. I mentioned Erykah Badu. Love Donny Hathaway. So those are some major artists. Obviously, Lauryn Hill. You know.
Now, on your journey, I know you have a team. Have you had an opportunity to work with any artists in particular, do any collaborations with anyone yet?
Yes, an artist, The Victor. Very proud of my collaborations with him. The project that he put out most recently is Begin to End. And so, yeah, I'm proud of my work that I did with him. And yeah, there are more collaborations to come.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Now, you're also an author, and you have an ebook available. So let's talk about Meals, Microphones, and Moves.
Yes, it is my integrative guide to teaching others how to live a healthier life. It's basically my own journey as an artist and how I changed my life to be healthier. So I ended up with some debilitating health issues. One of them was like major, debilitating, severe allergies. And I also dealt with some really tough skin issues, eczema. And so I changed my life from top to bottom, doing everything that I knew to do, everything that I studied to do to change it. And so I ended up coming up with a formula. So I have 4 pillars of health. And they are mindset. So obviously what we're feeding our minds, our mindset and how we're maintaining our mental state. Also physical activity, nutrition, and sound. Sound as a form of healing.
Yes.
And it's one of my mediums.
Bowls
yes, Tibetan sound bowls.
Yes.
Yes. And certain frequencies affect different chakras. Now we have so many chakras, but they're the seven main ones that we talk about. Yeah. And so there's a tone that you can use in singing bowls that affects each chakra and can help them align. So that's an aspect of how we can use sound for therapy and healing. But yeah, so my book goes through all of that. There are even meal plans and recipes in the book. It's information on how to meditate, information on how you can stay physically fit. It's a very thorough, reference-driven book.
I'm definitely going to get my copy. I'm going to download my copy because I watched your transformation. Like, I remember when you first started, because on one of your pages, you share your stories of your fitness journey. And me knowing where you started to where you are, girl, you better.
Thank you. You look good too. So you are taking very good care of yourself.
Thank you. You know, these 40s doing me all right.
Yes, very well.
Now, so I wanted to also talk about your merch. You have a merch line as well. Because you just got your hands in everything. You just way outside the box.
Well,
so you got the book, you got the music, now you got the merch. Let's talk about Sun Chaser.
So I'm a huge yoga enthusiast. I like to stay physically fit just in general. So I'm a fairly fit person, but my choice, like my top choice, is yoga. I love it because not only does it take care of or it covers the meditative piece and it can be very restorative, or it can be more intense with like hot yoga or a vinyasa flow. Like it can be very, very, very rigorous. So it's a whole spectrum and range. And for some people, it's even like it's a whole way of life and a religion, if you will. So it depends on how deep you get into it. So I'm a yoga enthusiast. I do yoga regularly. I've been doing it for well over 10 years. And so what I decided to do was create a line of yoga apparel and things that I sell products that I would say support and benefit those who are practicing yoga or just interested in it or just want products that reflect it. So anything from a yoga mat to rolling balls to yoga blocks or even like a fitness apparel, things of that nature. So people can check it out.
Yes. This is why you are outside the box, because I try to tell people every day that you do not have to just find one thing and stick to it. If God have blessed you to cover many areas, cover them all. He said your gifts will make room for you, and they're definitely making room for you, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Yes,
likewise.
Indeed. So before we go, What do we have to look forward to from Shaleyah?
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I'm currently working on a publishing deal, and I'm open to an artist deal as well. So that's something I'm working on new material already. I've been working with Twan the God. That's the producer I'm working with, and there are a few other producers that I've been in communications with that I think I'll be working with as well. So I'm still putting out material. So I have my sophomore project will be coming out soon. So I'm really, really excited about that. I'm actually doing some revamping to my online presence. So making some changes in the social media area, and I am refining and upgrading my website. So I have new merch coming, so be on the lookout for that. It's just like I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. So from the music, the health and wellness, I'm just like able to do what I love to do and present that to people. And I want to reach more people. I want to really help them to achieve some of their goals in these areas as well. And also just help people feel better and feel good.
Dope. I love it. I love it. So before we wrap up the show, are you gonna give us a little sample or something?
A little ditty.
A little ditty or two.
Okay. All right, sis. So I think what I'll do is I'll sing a part of a song entitled Shadow. This is my most vulnerable song from More Than Enough, my most recent project, because it comes from such a like deep and vulnerable place inside. That's where I really wrote the lyrics from. So this is the unplugged a cappella version.
All right, I'm ready.
Where would you like to go? Who do you want to be? I always knew I wanted to be free. See me, I like to laugh and play. Can I sing my favorite songs all day? Then they would say no, but I say yes. Mother, she opposed it. And Daddy, I really don't remember being around. Always chasing dreams up and down the street, spending time, precious time. So I did what they told me. I just did what they said. I lost myself in the shadow of the world.
All the feels, baby. All the feels. You guys got to make sure that you guys stay plugged in, tuned in, tapped in with Shaleyah. If you guys want to follow her, be sure to go over, check out her website, www.shaleyah.com. Make sure you check out everything. Click all the links. Listen to her new song, Natural. Also, follow her over there on Instagram. Make sure you hit that follow button. She's consistently releasing new content on there as well. And for our Facebookers, make sure you go ahead over to her artist page and you hit that like button over there. And if you're a Twitter person, her updates also go to Twitter. Make sure you follow her over there on Twitter. And last but not least, actually not last, she has a YouTube page. So when she dropped that new single, that new video, make sure you subscribe to that page so you can be alerted when she dropped new content. And if you didn't miss it, her apparel is also available. So make sure you go to Sun Chaser. That's www.sunchaser.com. Get your merch. Make sure you get that Zen in line, align those chakras.
Yes.
And while I have your attention, I want to remind you that Outside the Box is on multiple platforms. So find a platform that works for you. Of course, we're on YouTube. We're on Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Hip Hop Street's live stream music app. Every Wednesday at 7, we're on 28 platforms. You can also find us on Thursday at 7 p.m. on A-Star TV. Make sure you tell a friend to follow the movement. And hey, if you're just one of those people that like to listen to podcasts on YouTube, we also have a YouTube channel. So I want you to go ahead on over to Outside the Box with Onay. We have over 90 episodes available for you. Find one that you like, catch up, hit the subscribe button, click the bell notification so you can be notified when a new segment is brought your way. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another week. I want to thank you, Shaleyah. I wish we had more time.
I know,
girl.
it went by so fast.
I mean,
you know what they say,
time flies when you're having fun. Yes, indeed. So I want to thank you for coming on Outside the Box.
Thank you for having me.
Letting me get all in your business and just shine your light. Because, I mean, you definitely have one.
Thank
you
you.
inspiring people that you don't even know paying attention. I tell you that all the time. But I really mean it. And I want to tell you that in front of the world. So thank you again for coming. I look forward to having you again. Definitely when we do another segment,
Yes,
you know, a
we
reunion show. Got to bring you on.
I would love that.
That's going to be so dope. So, you guys, this is our show, but we want you to stay plugged in, tuned in, tapped in. Catch us the same time, same place next week. I'm your host, Onay the CEO, and you are Outside the Box.